crime scene, is what I'm saying.
Yes, we're not cleaning up a crime scene. The blood is here for a different reason. The blood is here to actually grease the wheels of motherfucking Werewolf Radar, the podcast you're listening to right now. Roger Norquist here.
Nate Baldwin, god
And
damn
Jordan,
it, am I happy to be here. Jordan Dahl is...
he's gone.
well,
He's
we're not going to
somewhere.
explain the blood now.
Yeah, but it's greasing the wheels of the radar as it spins around the night, pinging at any unknown, specifically werewolves, but sometimes other things in the night, telling us where they are so we can protect you with and give you the facts you need to protect yourself.
We are, of course, this week brought to you, as always, by Monstroco brand Earwax Remover. No ears, no wax, no problem. Now in cherry flavor.
And we would normally do the howl at the front of the month, is what we're going to do from now on. Do the howl at the front of the month, but Jordan is not here, so we're going to wait till next week to do the howl. But thank you so much for your continued patronage. Really appreciate it. Can't do it without you. It pays for all the hosting fees and extra stuff that we try to put to good use. So really appreciate it. One day we'll do this as a full-time job, defeating coast to coast and becoming the new old people in suits talking about the paranormal and gold. But for right now, we're small time and we appreciate your support. And if you can't support us at patreon.com/werewolf radar, you can check out our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Twitch. We do everything all the time on all the formats. So check us out there. Just Werewolf Radar, sometimes Werewolf Radar werewolf underscore werewolf. Nope. Werewolf underscore radar. Like at twitch.tv. But check us out there. And if you really want, write us a review on iTunes and on Stitcher and other things, because that truly is the best way to get us seen and heard by new audiences. Write a new review, write a refreshed review of us. Let us know how our voices are aging. Do we sound younger or older post-pandemic? I bet it's neither. I bet we sound more ethereal. Let me know if I was wrong. Anyway, this week, do you want me to go? Yeah, do you want to go first or end it?
Well, what
I think I have a shorter one.
What I'd like to know, Roger, right now is what's in your cauldron.
Okay. Well, right now I have this, and now we're going to adult content warning. This is why the explicit warning's on there. I have in my cauldron this orange cookie Kush live butter from Kushmasters. This is an unsponsored ad, but it is one of the tastiest, dirtiest hashes I've ever smoked.
Feel free to tag Werewolf Radar with them in a tweet if you want, saying that we support it.
Say, I like Werewolf Radar. I like Kushmaster. You should send them some. This has not been a sponsored ad. That is in my cauldron. What about yours, Nate?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I was looking at the spell of the day today.
Ooh.
It is this is from Llewellyn's Spell a Day.
Is this one Eat a Foot?
No, unfortunately, no. Eat a Foot was, I think that was last Thursday. This is Calling the Witch Ancestors. Which is special for October. While modern jack-o'-lanterns are made from pumpkins, they were originally made from hollowed-out turnips. This spell honors the past and builds strength for the future. Gather these items: 1 turnip, 1 black candle, 1 mini pumpkin, 1 white candle, incense, equal parts anise, coriander, and cardamom, and a censer. So already your work's cut out for you.
Yeah, that's a grocery list that you got to go an extra day to the store to, for sure.
On a table, place the turnip to the left with the black candle behind it. Place the pumpkin to the right with the white candle behind it, and the censer unlit between the candles. Think of the witches of the past who paved the way for our modern practice. Focus on asking them for guidance and help in advancing your craft. Safely light the black candle, then the white candle and incense, saying, to build and bond a call, on your power hidden, company of witches past. Grant me guidance and strength this hour I call those before this spell I cast. For highest good, joyous and free as I will be, so mote it be. Stuff out the candles and incense. Use the turnip and pumpkin as decorations to remind you of the ancestor magic.
And what happens now? Do I get a minion that I can control, or do I get wisdom or some sort of clairvoyance?
Well, I'm going to say, depending on the witches that you might know from your ancestry, you might get some visits overnight.
Ooh. And what are they going to do? My nails, or we gonna kill men?
Bang it out, whatever.
All right. Nice. All right. Well, that's neat.
I have a sort of, I have a witch related thing. If we can do it, it's sort of long.
Sure. I got a shorter one we can end on, unless you want to do the short one and then end on some meat.
Well, let's just do this then. This is from the Smithsonian Magazine, and I looked at a bunch of stuff, but it's mostly from the Smithsonian. Into the Cave of Chile's Witches.
Into the wait, let me write this down. Into the caves of Chilean witches.
Oh, just the one cave from Chiloé, an island.
How do you spell that?
Tip of Chile. Chile with the little accent.
Yeah.
There is a place.
All right, I found it.
Yeah. There's a place in South America that was once the end of the earth. It lies close to the 35th parallel where the Malay River empties into the Pacific Ocean. And in the first years of the 16th century, it marked the spot at which the empire of the Incas ended and a strange and unknown world began. South of the Malay, the Incas thought, lay a land of mystery and darkness. It was a place where the Pacific's waters chilled and turned from black to blue, and where indigenous peoples struggled to claw the basis of living from a hostile environment. It was also where the witches lived and evil came from. The Incas called this land the place of seagulls. Today, the place of seagulls began at a spot 700 miles due south of the Chilean capital, Santiago, and stretches another 1,200 miles all the way to Tierra del Fuego, the land of fire. I don't know why they're telling us on this ship. Anyway, it's the island of Chiloé, rain-soaked and rainbow-strewn, matted with untamed virgin forests and possessed of a distinct and interesting history. First visited by Europeans in 1567, Chiloé was long known for piracy and privateering. In the 19th century, when Latin America revolted against imperial rule, the island remained loyal to Spain. And in the 1880s, a little more than a half century after it was finally incorporated into Chile, it was the scene of a remarkable trial, the last significant witch trial probably anywhere in the world. Who were they? These sorcerers hauled before a court for casting spells in an industrial age. According to traveler Bruce Chatwin, who stumbled over traces of their story in the 70s, they belonged to a sect of male witches that existed for the purpose of hurting people.
Nice. First of all, fuck the people who were all like, the witches and we must stop them. The fucking imperialist, of course. I'm sure this is just like 1,000-year-old or not, maybe not that old, but like this was a part of the culture, and like everyone else was like, them? Yeah, they just do them though.
It ends up being a lot closer to the mafia, and was definitely. They're this is like the Sicilians to the Chilean. I don't know.
Okay, so what you're saying is this is if the Sicilian mafia claimed to be witches for the sole purpose of terrorizing the community.
Well, they're not Sicilians, but they are on an island nearby that's terrorizing people.
All right, go on. I am enthralled with this story.
According to their own statements, made during the trial of 1880, they ran protection rackets on the island, disposing of their enemies by poisoning or worse, by salladures, magically inflicting profound slashes.
Whew.
Yeah. So they ran all the gambling, the prostitution, the booze.
And if you didn't do what they liked, they were all like, ah, and then I'm sure they like slashed you profoundly.
It was magical slashing. It would just appear on you out of the darkness.
That's worse.
But since the same men also claimed to belong to a group called La Recta Provincia, a phrase that may be loosely translated as the righteous province, or maybe directly translated as that, and styled themselves members of the mayoría, or the majority, an alternative interpretation may also be advanced. Perhaps these witches were actually representatives of a strange sort of alternative government, an indigenous society that offered justice of a perverted kind to Indians living under the rule of the white elite. Perhaps they were more shamans than sorcerers. The most important of the warlocks brought to court in 1880 was a Chilote farmer by the name of Mateo Coñacar. He was then 70 years old and by his own admission had been a member of the righteous province for more than 2 decades. According to Coñacar's testimony, the society was an important power on the island with numerous members, an elaborate hierarchy of kings and viceroys, which are both in quotes. So those were...
like
this is like a European adoption.
This is insane. And
the headquarters.
When I heard Into the Cave of Chile's Witches, I thought of a number of things. What I didn't think would be uncovered was a massive racketeering scam involving the local shamans, apparently organized by an old patriarch.
Oh, not organized by him. He's just the oldest guy to have been pulled into the court. Like I think he had to go down, so a bunch of his capos or whatever didn't.
Okay, I guess we're just full crime podcast now. We're just full crime witch and sorcerer podcast.
Well, now hold on. You are getting your cavern right here, because it goes on to say he's talking about and a headquarters located in a vast cavern 40 or more yards long, whose secret entrance had been cleverly concealed in the side of a ravine. The cave, which Chilote tradition asserts was lit by torches burning human fat, was hidden somewhere outside the little coastal village of Kivaki, and was, Coñacar and other witnesses swore, home to a pair of monsters that guarded the society's most treasured possessions, an ancient leather book and an ancient leather book of magic, and a bowl that, filled with water, allowed secrets to be seen.
You know, I think that I've made it in society, in the world, where like, oh, I have a place and I have like a TV and internet and things, and then I hear what other people have in different countries, and I'm thinking, man, I need a cavern. I need a pair of I need a pair of monsters and a bowl of secrets, man. That's real living.
I did want to. There's some fun stuff on the Wikipedia page about how they got this book, or which book this probably is. They're talking about the magic book. According to legend, Jose de Marlade y Montero challenged the power of the Machi. So also, the wizards are both. There's the Machis and the Calcus. The Machis are the good wizards. The Calcus are the bad ones. Or vice versa. I believe I have it right, but if I'm wrong, reverse it.
We apologize. Yes.
Challenge the power of the Machi Chilpia to a magic competition. Marleda was defeated and Chilpia ran his ship aground when he tried to leave the island. Accepting his defeat, Marleda gave Chilpia a magic book from which some indigenous people would be instructed. This fact led to the union of indigenous rituals and practices with the knowledge described in the given book, which would give rise to the secret society. Merlita, it also says Merlita doesn't mention in this report having met with a sorceress, Shapia. So it's possible that this is a gender division between machis and kokas. I'm not
Yeah.
100%
Okay.
sure. But yeah, so there was a sorcerer conquistador who came and lost a magic battle and in turn had to turn over his magic book, and they keep it in their cave, guarded by two monsters.
Ugh, insane. And then some of the, and you can read what we pull this from. I put it on our Discord. Join that. It's in the link of our episodes. It's also on all of our socials, I'm pretty sure. But there are some crazy pullout quotes of this.
Oh,
Such as when Joseph Jose Maramon was king is a horrifying tale.
yeah. I'm just about to jump to Benjamin Vicuña McKenna
Yeah,
talking
go
about
on.
his first visit to the cave.
Go on.
This is a quote from that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. 20 years ago, when Jose Maraman was king, he was ordered to go to the cave with meat for some animals that lived inside. He complied with the order and took the meat of a kid he had slaughtered, like goat kid, not actual kid.
Yes, that one. You need to clarify that. I was tricked. That's why I was like, this is horrifying.
Maraman went with him, and when they reached the cave, he started dancing about like a sorcerer and quickly opened the entryway. This was covered over with a layer of earth and grass to keep it hidden, and under this there was a piece of metal, the alchemy key. He used this to open the entryway, and was then faced with two completely disfigured beings, which burst out of the gloom and rushed towards him. One looked like a goat, for it dragged itself along on four legs, and the other was a naked man with a completely white beard and hair down to his waist. It is possible from other records of the righteous province to learn more about this hideous creature that Kanye swore he'd encountered in 1860. The goat-like monster was a shirato, a deformed mute covered in piggish bristles. The other, and by far the more dangerous of the cave's twin denizens, was the invunche or imbunche. Like the shirato, it had once been a human baby and had been kidnapped in infancy. I'll give you, before the next quote, the wiki about the Mbunche.
The Mbunche.
According to legend, the Mbunche is a firstborn child less than 9 days old that was kidnapped or sold by their parents to a Bruja Chilote. If the baby had been christened, the warlock debaptizes them through unknown means of black magic. The Brujo Chilote transforms the child into a deformed, hairy monster by breaking their right leg and twirling it over their back. When the child is 3 months old, their tongue is forked, their teeth turn sharp, their skin turns blue, and the warlock applies a magic cream over the child's back to cause thick hair. During its first months, the Mbunche is fed on black cat's milk and goat flesh, and when it's old enough, with human corpses from cemeteries.
Nice. Just like my D&D character.
Yep. The quote from Chatwin was, when the sect needs a new Mbunche, the Council of the Cave orders a member to steal a boy child from 6 months to a year old. The deformer, capital D, deformer, a permanent resident of the cave, starts work at once. He disjoints the arms and legs and the hands and feet, begins the delicate task of altering the position of the head. Day after day and for hours at a stretch, he twists the head with a tourniquet until it's rotated through an angle of 180 degrees. That is, until the child can look straight down the line of its own vertebrae. There remains one last operation for which another specialist is needed. At full moon, the child is laid out on a workbench, lashed down with its head covered in a bag. The specialist cuts a deep incision on the right shoulder blade. Into the hole he inserts the right arm and sews up the wound with thread taken from the neck of an ewe. When it is healed, the Mbunche is complete. This is some gnarly ass audition shit. It's a man in a bag.
I feel like this would all be more useful if you didn't do some of it. I feel like you're kind of breaking your own toy, you know?
Yeah. 4 legs is better than 3, especially if your head is twisted all the way around.
Yes, that's maybe not. Maybe don't twist the head. Keep all the limbs, and then you got a creature that can make you cereal.
Or like just raise it as a big, huge guy who guards the cave.
But you do you. You do you. You keep sorcering. I won't stop you. Or maybe I have to. Is this one of those cases where we have to stop them?
I mean, I guess if you can. We don't know what this thing can do. Maybe it can like reverse gravity or some shit and just appear in the corner of your room, drop down on you when it wants to.
That's fair. Go on.
I figure anything that's had a leg or a hand sewn up into it, it can probably
do that for a reason.
something cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be an upside to this, right? They can't have just tortured a child for its entire life.
I hope.
Naked, fed principally on human flesh and confined below ground, neither the Shivata nor the Invuche received any sort of education. Indeed, it was said that neither ever acquired human speech in all the years they served what Chatwin calls the Committee of the Cave. Nevertheless, he concludes, over the years, it does develop a working knowledge of the committee's procedure and can instruct novices with harsh and guttural cries.
So you gotta make your own language.
Yeah. It can scream you in and out.
This is horrifying.
Yes, it is. It would be unwise, of course, to accept at face value the testimony given at any witch trial, not least evidence that concerns the existence of a hidden cave that a week-long search conducted in the spring of 1880 failed utterly to uncover. Of course, they didn't uncover it, though. It was hidden by magic. I mean, clearly, these people were under the thumb of some witches for a reason. And it wasn't because they weren't there. Or maybe they just owed racketeering debts. I don't know. Failed utterly to uncover, and that was extracted under who knows what sort of duress. Yet it is as well to concede that whatever the righteous province actually was, the society does seem to have existed in some form, and that many Chilotes regarded its members as fearsome enemies possessed of genuinely supernatural powers. Accounts dating to the 19th century tell of the regular collection of protection money on Chiloe, what Ovidio Lagos described as an annual tribute demanded of, quote, practically all villagers to ensure they would have no accidents during the night.
I mean, it seems very aggressive.
The mage mafia. The mini mages of Newark.
Oh my god. Shamans, I never hear the more extorting side of shamans, but apparently here it is.
I know you wanted to say the darker side, but it's always the darker side.
It's the darker side of shamans. It would be a shame if something should happen to your child tonight. You should pay your tithes.
You wouldn't want me to have to take him to the cave, make the deformer work on him.
Oh, continue.
Please make it clear that islanders who resisted these demands for payment could expect to have their crops destroyed and their sheep killed by sorcery. It was believed for the men of the Mayoria were believed to possess a pair of magical stones that gave them the power to curse their enemies. So on top of having monsters, a magic book taken from a conquistador and a giant cave, they have two magic stones. Or perhaps just the balls to burn all your shit down. I don't know.
It would be a shame if by sorcery with the, your crop should be set on fire. By sorcery, that is. I'm not saying someone would do it, but there's magics.
The records of the trial of 1888 to 1881 make it clear that the proceedings had their origins in a rash of suspicious poisonings that had claimed numerous victims over the years.
It should be a shame that if you and your family were poisoned for being dummies.
What should you not come up with things? I don't know. Maybe if it goes into the former, maybe your husband dies. We can't say. Whether one takes literally the many supernatural claims that litter the trial transcripts, though, is a very different matter. The members of the righteous province claimed, for example, to possess the ability to fly, using a special word, alleluia, as they leapt into the air, and wearing a magical waistcoat known as the makyun. They gave them power to defy gravity. Now, I gotta talk about this magic waistcoat. So,
Okay.
there's a whole thing where in this area, when somebody dies, somebody's got to stand guard over the grave for 5 days, because within those 5 days, if you leave a new grave unguarded, one of these wizards will come, dig it up, flay the flesh off of your loved one, and turn it into a waistcoat that allows them to fly.
Yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. If there weren't guard people in cemeteries every night, I would be doing it.
Absolutely. Well, and like this thing even says defy gravity. I think they just mean flying, but honestly, if you can defy gravity, that's a whole other level of power.
Also, Adam P in our Zoom room coming up with the phrase, he's a made mage.
The made mage.
You can't touch him.
Yeah. Chatwin reports that it's done by digging up and filling a recently interred Christian corpse, though other sources say that the waistcoat was made from the skin of a virgin girl or a dead sorcerer. So you could also dig up your friend. It's an easy way to go. Once dried and cured,
there's always an easy way to go. Like you could do it good, and everything goes well, or you can get this like bargain way.
You want
to
one
get
of those
the
fresh Christians or a virgin girl. Your old ass wizard pal. Who knows what he looks like? He's probably lich like. It does say the human skin once sewn into the garment, the human grease remaining in the skin gives off a soft phosphorescence which lights the members' nocturnal expeditions. Which sounds like a crazy
that means
euphemism.
What? Yeah.
They go flying around with this little glow, like a fun Skylord.
Okay, man, if that's what you say.
Nor were the Shivato and the Invuce the only supernatural beings thought to be under the control of the righteous province. The prisoners who testified in 1880 admitted that on joining the society, each warlock was given a small live lizard, which he wore strapped to his head with a bandana so that it was next to the skin. It was a magical creature from which the novice might imbibe all sorts of forbidden knowledge, not least how to transform himself into an animal and how to open locked doors. So you gotta...
Dude, fucking Western,
a cool-ass
white
lizard
European
encyclopedia of witchcraft strapped to your head.
Fucking white European, Western, mainstream, culturally, media-wise witches are so boring. These witches just tape a salamander to your head. You'll get its wisdom. And I want to live in that society. That is my chosen society. That they have fun. They dance.
Yeah, you have to dance like a wizard to open the cave.
I forgot about that. He had to dance like a sorcerer.
Among the islanders, initiates were also believed to use seahorses to convey them to a magical vessel owned by the society known as the Kaluake, a word that means shapeshifter in the local language. The Kaluake was a brightly lit ghost ship that could travel underwater and service in remote bays to unload contraband cargoes carried for the island's merchants, a trade that was one of the chief sources of the warlock's wealth. So they have a fucking ghost ship that has seahorses
Seahorses you can ride.
moving contraband. As far as mafias go,
Number one, it
the
goes
Chiloé witch mafia has to be
Yes.
the best.
It goes Chilean witch mafia, Amish mafia, Sicilian mafia, then mainland Italian mafia, then Russian mafia. Sorry, Russia. Sorry, don't come to my house and prove me how badass you are. I understand. Every mafia is pretty badass, okay? Sorry, not to start wars at my house.
At least not until you get the flayed flesh of a fellow sorcerer.
Yeah, just give me a week. I need a week and then we'll see who's boss. You still are.
This tradition has outlived the warlocks of the righteous province, and even today, many Chilotes firmly believe that the Caluche still haunt their coast, harvesting the souls of drowned sailors. So,
A little Selkie rules or Selkie fun.
Yeah, the ship guided by phantom seahorses takes the souls of dead sailors. Like, there's nothing about this that isn't amazing.
No, this is up there even with a demon ranking. Oh, by the way, from last week, I'll have a demon ranking update at the end of your segment.
Right. When the witches needed spies and messengers, they drew on still other resources. The society was widely believed to use adolescent girls who were stripped naked and forcibly fed a drink made of wolf oil and the juice of a knot tree, a fruit found only on Chiloé.
Sure, that makes sense. What's wolf oil?
I have no
Is that
idea.
when you squeeze an oil? Or is that when you squeeze a wolf?
I mean, it's got to be like, yeah, like whatever. Like if you reduce wolf meat somehow. The potion was supposedly so noxious that it made them vomit up their own intestines. Thus lightened, the girls turned into large, long-legged birds resembling rooks, whose caws, Logos says, are the most unpleasant sounds ever to fall on a human ear. When their mission was completed, the birds returned at daybreak to the spot where the potion had been drunk to re-ingest their entrails and once again become human. Which, again, nothing about this isn't just fucking bonkers.
This has been one of the craziest witch tales I've ever heard.
The power to perform such spells was never conferred lightly, and the testimonies collected in the 1880 to 1881 suggest that the society developed elaborate initiation ceremonies to test would-be witches. Initiates were first required to wash away all traces of their baptism by bathing in freezing waters of the Traguain, I think, river on 15 consecutive nights. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
They might then be ordered to murder a close relative or friend to prove that they had cleansed themselves of human sentiment. These murders, for some unstated reason, were to take place on Tuesdays.
Which that's something lots of things do as well. There's something about
Tuesday?
killing your close friend that removes you from humanity.
Yeah, well, it's like every mafia movie we've seen.
Yep. Choosing family before friends.
Yeah. Usually you got to make a choice at some point. You got to pick the real family. Then they have to run 3 times around the island naked, calling to the devil.
Nice.
Chatwin adds 2 further details that do not appear in the surviving trial transcripts. That the novice was required to catch without fumbling a skull thrown to him from the crown of a tricorn hat, and that while standing naked in the freezing river, prospective members were allowed a little toast. Which I don't know if that means like Cheers, or like you get some bread.
I'm going for the whole bread on that one.
Probably the bread.
I want a whole piece. Give me that toast.
It was only when these tests had been completed the initiate would be admitted to the cave at Tikori, shown the secret book of magic, and allowed to meet the elders who ran the righteous province. Lagos suggests that the word Mayalia refers to these elders, Mayales, rather than to the proportion of Chiloé's Indian population. There he received instruction in the strict code that governed members, including prohibitions on theft, rape, and eating salt.
All those three are equal.
It was claimed that these ceremonies concluded with a great feast in which the chief dish was the roasted flesh of human babies.
Salt, yes.
I mean, that's pretty much everything you need to know about the Chiloé witch mafia. It's a beautiful island to go to, apparently, full of old churches and stuff. And, you know, watch out for the three-legged children who have been turned into monsters, I guess, if you go there.
They're easy to identify. They have a hand sewed inside of them, if I remember right.
And their head twisted around. Sometimes it's a leg sewn up behind them, or just twisted there. They'll be the ones dashing at you out of the underbrush.
Be careful. And what were they called again?
Imbuche? Oh, that's the Imbuche or Imbuche.
Yeah, watch out for him. Imbuche.
But the righteous province, or the recte provincia, is the committee of the cave witches who run all the shit.
Well, Nate, I'm not gonna lie, phenomenal segment. Do you have a name for it? Nice.
We're looking at it.
No,
that's terrible.
I mean, it was still funny. It's better than what me and Jordan do on a daily basis. I'm stressed out from that. I generally thought Chile was one of the better places I could go to enjoy the cuisine I like. But now I'm forever scared of witches there.
No, I mean, you should be scared of witches everywhere you go.
That's fair. That being said,